Hi, I'm Dennis Fisher, and I'm here at the Kaspersky Lab Threatpost Security Analyst Summit in Cancun, and I'm here with my friend Costin Raiu, who runs our global research and analysis team. And Costin, you gave a presentation yesterday that looked at Duqu, and you did a lot of the analysis, and your team did a lot of the initial analysis of the Duqu malware right after it was discovered. And a couple of the things that you mentioned in the presentation yesterday I thought were really interesting, one of which hadn't really been talked about before, is you did some analysis of the time that during the day, the time of day that the Duqu attackers were logging into their command and control servers, and you were able to sort of figure out maybe where they were and some other attributes of who they are.
Yeah, so quite interesting research which was done by the global research analysis team. We pulled some of the logs from the SSH server, and we looked at the times when these logins were happening. We had the idea maybe we can figure out what is night time and what is a daytime for the attackers. And by looking at the graphics which we created and which we have presented, it seems like they're probably based somewhere around GMT plus 2, which is actually not news because this is something that has been mentioned previously, but probably it just reinforces the theory. So they probably get to work somewhere around before 9 a.m. They make a short break for maybe a tea or just a smoke around 11. They go to lunch to eat about 2 p.m. and then they go home at 6. And probably the very interesting thing, they keep working from home. So quite hardworking people here we are talking about.
So these guys are dedicated to what they're doing, obviously. And so there are a few things. There's a lot that you know about the malware itself. People have identified several of the command and control servers. There's probably some more that have not been named or publicly identified. There are a few other things that you don't necessarily know about the attackers and the malware themselves. What are those that you'd still like to find out?
Well, there are like a lot of mysteries related to the Duqu story, and it's so complex and huge that pretty much nobody has the resources and time to analyze it fully. And just to mention some of the remaining mysteries, for instance, we observed that the infrastructure was based on top of C#, and they used a library called Sharp SSH from a Israeli programmer named Tamir Gal. It was used inside the infrastructure to control what was going on. And there are at least two other big mysteries. One of them is we found attempts to log into a very strange website called FTP Unusual Statue Collection.net. We tried to get in touch with the owners, but was not very successful. It's quite an interesting, very strange website, which maybe was accessed by the attackers for some purpose. And the second one, which is also very scary, we found evidence, traces of attempts to log into ftpubuntu.com. We don't know if the login attempts were successful or not, and we spoke to Canonical, and they mentioned that the machine has already been destroyed a long time ago, so there's no way to know for sure. So it's just one of the remaining mysteries in the Duqu story, if they had access to such a big and huge resource as the Ubuntu FTP side.
All right, great. Thank you very much, Costin. It was an excellent presentation, and there's obviously still a lot more to learn about Duqu in the coming months. All right. Thanks very much.